Others are not contract SSF level winners, or Super 3s level dragons. No matter how bad they are a rich second generation enjoying life. And you have actually contracted with a writer in your previous life when you traveled over. At this time, in the contract space, you look at the familiar truck driver as fierce. This truck is exactly what you loved in your past life. Is the contract a good winner? What the hell is a contract truck? You complained helplessly, and the peace charm hanging in the rearview mirror swayed from side to side, as if celebrating your return. In your previous life, you were an ordinary cargo truck driver. In addition to daily overweight loads, when transporting goods. He has never been in a car accident, but he died on the way to disaster relief. This truck can be regarded as having accompanied you for half a lifetime. Now that we meet again, you can't wait to try its power again. But at this time, you first talked about the panel information of the truck in front of you. Name, truck, grade, P-class, design gross weight 100 tons, current actual gross weight 150 tons, maximum speed 100 kilometers per hour. The current oil volume is 912.411,000, and when the oil is not full, it will absorb the owner's mana and automatically replenish the oil volume. After reading the information in the panel, you can't help but pour out your voice. Unexpectedly, you guy is still a 100-ton king. I've only heard of Katsuman's rank from D to SS. What does P-class refer to? It can't be physical, right? You habitually open the car door and look around the outside of the car to check the condition of the car. This also gives you the opportunity to take a comprehensive look at your old man's appearance again. It seems that while the car is crossing with itself, it has also been upgraded and returned to the cab. After some skillful dreaming, the locomotive launched a loud roar that resounded throughout the space. You can't wait to drive your car, and the wind is blowing in the contract space, but fortunately, there is a lot of space here. At this time, on the other side, a person suddenly fell on the awakening square. A black pillar of light. That was the awakening of another classmate anyway. It's not good. Turn off the light quickly and terminate the contract ceremony. The principal suddenly turned pale when he saw the black pillar of light. No, we lost control of the light, we couldn't turn it off, and the teacher who was responsible for manipulating the light was sweating profusely. However, while they were talking, the light blue light had become muddy under the pollution of the black light pillar, and the light pattern had been tampered with. Now we can't go into support, and the students can't escape. In the blink of an eye, the barrier that originally protected middle school students became a cage that trapped them. This is a figure in a black pillar of light. The illusion slowly emerged, and it was the awakened classmate. His clothes and his skin were pulled by the strange power in the pillar of light to the point of being inhuman, but there was still a strange image hanging from his mouth, and at the same time, a whisper came out of his mouth. Although the voice was not loud, it strangely came directly into the minds of everyone present. In the dark and broken realm, there is no way to call for the name of salvation. In the echoing sound, the student's body began to tremble violently, and it dissipated into the air with a bang, and then a force of evil intention spread from within the pillar of light. As the black pillar of light slowly disappeared. It was a huge centipede-shaped monster. Don't stare, it's an episode of the evil god Gurgen. Do your best to save your life, don't panic, wait for rescue. The principal not only shouted with his mouth, he had already activated all his magic power, ready to blast the shield open with brute force. Several other teachers also tacitly started the magic circle and prepared to help the principal. However, the shield was originally designed to withstand all external attacks. At this time, under the pollution of the evil god, some kind of strange absorption characteristics were revealed. The power of the teachers failed to shake the guarantee. The trump card behind. Ji Kai Kai, Deng Tao, and Divine Power Gel, these two are S-level contractors, and they have all contracted S-level jade beasts. They bit down on the small packet they had been holding in their mouths and swallowed the soft liquid in it into their throats. In an instant, the mana has been increased by a huge amount, and even a mere level dares to touch porcelain are 2S ranks, which is really overestimating. The two summoned holy beasts one after another, and the strong lake and the eerie jellyfish appeared at the same time. Stopped in front of the evil god Gurgen, although there is only a difference of 1 level between the S level and the first level holy beast, they are very different in strength, but they didn't expect it. The two S-rank holy beasts were torn to pieces, and their masters Ji Kai Kai and Deng Tao spat blood and fell aside. And the evil god Jurgen is greedily devouring the corpses of the holy beasts to accumulate strength. Principal, is there anything we can do to help? Despite the order, all the awakened students wanted to show their power. Is that so? Then I beg you to close your eyes. He waved his hand and released a black matter technique, blocking the sight of all the junior apprentices, perhaps not letting them see the bloody massacre that followed, which was the greatest mercy. At this moment, companion. With a strong air whistle roaring suddenly piercing the sky, a black supergiant lawn object emerged from nowhere and crashed into Jurgen in a daze. The black giant didn't pause in the slightest, its huge tires mercilessly crushing over Jurgen's body. The clicking sound kept ringing, like crushing a rotten branch, and the Jurgen was directly crushed into flesh and bones. The black object slowed down quickly after passing the garden, and finally stopped steadily in front of the apprentices. What is this situation? The apprentices who gradually returned to their senses were stunned. Looking at this black giant that suddenly appeared, I felt the change in the situation. Ji Kai Kai fought into the last trace of self-interest in his body, supported and got up, and then he saw the most desperate picture in his life. You jumped out of the huge truck lightly, landing just on the shoe rope garden that had been crushed into paper. Why is this waste? Ji Kai Kai vomited out a mouthful of blood and fainted directly, while Deng Tao was unconscious for a long time. You were happily racing in the contract space, there was nothing here, the road was flat, and you didn't need to worry about your car being crushed by too much weight. Such. Without hesitation, he drove the speed to the limit of the car, that is, 100 kilometers per hour. Unexpectedly, with the completion of the contract ceremony, the contract space disappeared on the spot, and the truck maintained its original kinetic energy and rushed directly into the real world. Fortunately, the truck's braking system has also been increased after crossing, and a speed bump has appeared out of nowhere. Your truck came to a steady stop without hitting the rest of the blood. At this time, when you walk out of the carriage, do you still want to make a sound to that speed bump? As the crisis was lifted, the shield returned to normal. The people who stopped the trial also rushed to the scene, but everyone was in a hurry. Examine. The judgment stop is an internal security institution of mankind, and its main job is to deal with evil gods or demons that have befallen within mankind. This is the Ge Gong, this torn paper. The judge looked at the Ge Gong zip on the ground, his face full of incredulity, and he tried to recall the training class before the port. The trainer's humility is what you do. 1 yen, you hesitated slightly, but nodded. Although you have roughly judged from the cheers of the crowd before, this speed bump on the ground is a bad guy. But your car is not insured yet, and the ghost knows if they will let you lose money. Let me see your contract winner. The judge supports. He held his forehead and tried to bring the investigation back to the evidence he was familiar with. After an evil god died back then, you were worried about what else would come out, so you temporarily recalled the truck to your sea of corpses. Now it must be summoned again. Sorry, please let me go, the space that may be needed is a little larger. You stroke with both hands, and the Inquisitor sees the range you draw, which has a slight atmosphere. The apprentice is anxious to break the boy. How big can the contract win? Isn't it almost 1 or 2 meters, and it is still installed in front of me? But he thought of the fate of the Gel Communist Party, and still swallowed the words of reprimand. You raise your hand to draw the rune. Nearly 20 meters by 30 meters of space was cleared in the square. Well, that's about it. Then you snap your fingers, and a black mechanical beast appears in the center of the clearing with a shameless sense of oppression.